At first, nothing felt supernatural. It felt normal. Too normal for something that was slowly destroying our family. My mother was the first to fall sick. It started with mild stomach pain, nothing serious, or so we thought. Then came the vomiting, day after day, night after night. Doctors changed, tests changed, medicines changed. She never did. Some days she could barely stand. Other days she lay still, staring at the ceiling, her face pale, like life was slowly leaking out of her body. The doctor said, "Everything looks fine," but nothing was fine. As weeks passed, her condition worsened. She grew thinner, weaker, her voice lost its strength. It felt like something unseen was feeding on her health. Then my father began to change. The man who once worked tirelessly started getting exhausted from simple tasks. His hands trembled, his breathing grew heavy. He stopped talking much. At night, I saw him sitting silently, as if listening to something I couldn't hear. And then, there was me. I felt tired all the time. My body ached for no reason. Some mornings, I woke up feeling like I hadn't slept at all. There was a constant pressure in my chest, as if something was sitting there, unseen and heavy. The house no longer felt like home. The air felt thick, heavy, silent, but not peaceful. Sometimes, while sitting alone, I felt like I was being watched. I would turn around quickly, but there was nothing. Just walls, just shadows, just silence. Still, we told ourselves it was stress, illness, bad luck. We didn't know then. This was only the beginning. Something had already entered our lives, quietly, patiently, and it wasn't done with us yet. The nights were the worst. During the day, the house looked normal. Sunlight entered through the windows, and everything felt almost safe. But when night fell, the house changed. It always started after midnight. At first, it was soft, so soft that I thought it was my imagination. Tap, 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 footsteps. Slow, careful, as if someone was walking barefoot across the floor. I sat up in bed, holding my breath, listening. Everyone else was asleep. The lights were off. The house should have been silent. Then I heard it again. Chin, chin, the sound of anklets. My heart began to race. No woman in our house wore anklets. Not my mother, not my grandmother. Yet the sound moved from one room to another, circling the house like it was searching for something. I wanted to wake my parents, but my body wouldn't move. Suddenly, I felt it. Pressure. Something heavy pressed down on my chest. My arms felt frozen. My mouth opened, but no sound came out. I tried to scream. I tried to move. Nothing. My eyes were open. I could see the dark ceiling above me. Shadows danced in the corners of the room. One shadow felt different, thicker, closer. The anklet sound stopped right beside my bed. I wanted to close my eyes, but I couldn't. A cold breath brushed against my face. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the pressure lifted. My body snapped free. I gasped for air, my chest burning. The room was empty. No footsteps, no anklets, no shadows. But the fear stayed. The next morning, my mother looked at me with tired eyes. "I couldn't move last night," she whispered. "It felt like someone was sitting on me." My father said nothing. He just stared at his tea, his hands shaking. That was when I realized something terrifying. Whatever was happening, it wasn't only happening to me. And the nights were no longer silent. After the nights changed, our bodies began to break. My mother stopped eating properly. Even a few bites made her sick. Sometimes she ran to the bathroom, vomiting until there was nothing left inside her. Her face grew pale, her eyes hollow, like someone slowly fading away. Doctors gave new medicines, new advice, new hope. None of it worked. Some days she lay on the bed, too weak to speak. When I held her hand, it felt cold, unnaturally cold. She whispered that her stomach felt like it was burning from the inside, as if something was twisting and tightening around her organs. Then my father worsened. He started losing strength rapidly. His shoulders drooped. His steps became slow and heavy. At night, he sat awake for hours, staring at the dark corners of the room. When I asked what was wrong, he said only one thing: "I feel like something is draining me." His voice carried fear. And me. I woke up every morning exhausted. My muscles ached as if I had been beaten in my sleep. Sometimes I found scratches on my arms, thin, red lines that burned when I touched them. I didn't remember how they got there. The house felt different now. The walls seemed closer. The rooms felt darker, even in daylight. The air smelled strange, like damp soil mixed with something rotten. At night, I heard whispers. Low, broken, too unclear to understand, but clear enough to make my skin crawl. Whenever I turned my head, the whispers stopped. One evening, my mother grabbed my wrist. Suddenly, her eyes were wide with terror. Someone was standing near the door, she whispered. A woman. I couldn't see her face. There was nothing there when I looked, but the fear in my mother's eyes was real. That night, as I lay awake, staring into the darkness, one thought kept repeating in my mind. This was no illness. This was no coincidence. Something unseen was feeding on us, and it was growing stronger. Just when things felt unbearable, grandmother came to stay with us. She was my mother's mother, a strong woman who believed deeply in hard work and faith. When she saw my mother's condition, her face changed. She didn't say much, but her eyes kept scanning the house, as if she sensed something wrong in the air. This house feels heavy, she said quietly, like it's holding its breath. During the day, she kept herself busy. She brought her sewing kit and decided to repair old pillows and make new ones. She said fresh cotton and sunlight could remove bad energy. So she planned to open the pillows, dry the cotton under the sun, and remake them. At that time, it sounded normal, harmless. That afternoon, she took my mother's pillow and sat on the floor with a blade in her hand. As she began cutting the stitching, the room felt unusually silent. Even the birds outside stopped making noise. Then it happened. She screamed, a sharp, terrified scream that froze my blood. The blade fell from her hand. Her face turned pale as ash. She stared into the open pillow as if she had seen something impossible. What is this? She whispered, her voice shaking. I rushed toward her. My heart pounded so loudly I could hear it in my ears. Inside the pillow, drenched with the cotton, were small folded papers covered in strange, crooked writing. There were strands of hair, pieces of old cloth, clumps of dry soil that smelled like earth from a grave. My grandmother's hands trembled. This is not normal, she said. This was placed here on purpose. A cold chill ran through my body. We stood there in silence, staring at the open pillow, knowing one terrifying truth. This house was hiding something evil, and it had just begun to reveal itself. For a moment, none of us moved. The room felt frozen, as if time itself had stopped. My grandmother slowly pulled her hand back from the open pillow, wiping it against her saree like she had touched something filthy. This shouldn't be here, she whispered again. She gathered the strange items, papers, hair, soil, placing them carefully on a piece of cloth. The smell grew stronger, damp, rotten, like old earth after rain. Trying to stay calm, she said, "Let me check the other pillows." Something inside me screamed no, but no one stopped her. She picked up my pillow next. The blade slid through the stitching with a soft ripping sound. Then she screamed again, louder this time. Her scream echoed through the house, sharp and broken, filled with pure terror. She dropped the pillow as if it had burned her hands. From inside, it fell something that made my stomach twist. A small cloth doll. It was made from old fabric I recognized. It was from my childhood clothes. The doll's body was tightly wrapped with black thread. Long strands of hair were tied around its neck. Its head was pierced with a rusted needle. Stuck inside the doll were clumps of soil and folded paper. My breath caught in my throat. My grandmother started crying. "They used your clothes," she said, shaking. "This is black magic." Before we could recover, she opened my father's pillow. Inside were more pieces of his old clothing, hair, soil, papers marked with symbols. I couldn't understand. Every pillow, every single one of us had been targeted. My legs felt weak. The room spun. It felt like the walls were closing in on us. This was no accident. This was planned. Someone had entered our home. Someone had touched our belongings. Someone had cursed us slowly, carefully, and with hate. And whoever did this knew us very well. We thought the worst was over after finding the doll. We were wrong. My grandmother wrapped everything in a cloth and told us not to touch it again. Her hands were shaking so badly she could barely tie the knot. She kept whispering prayers under her breath, her lips trembling with fear. As she stood up, something slipped from the cotton of my mother's pillow. A second doll, smaller, dirtier, older. This one was different. Its face wasn't stitched properly. The eyes were uneven, made from black beads that seemed to stare straight at us. The cloth was soaked with something dark and stiff, old blood, maybe, or something worse. My mother let out a weak cry and collapsed onto the bed. Then the smell changed. The room, filled with the stench of damp soil and decay, so strong it made my eyes water. I felt nauseous. My chest tightened, and the air felt hard to breathe. That was when I noticed the needle. It wasn't fully stuck into the doll's head. It was slowly sliding out. I stared at it, my heart hammering. No one was touching it. There was no wind, yet the rusted needle moved just a little then stopped. My grandmother saw it too. She gasped and stumbled backward. "This thing is active," she whispered. "It hasn't been broken yet." Suddenly, my mother screamed. Her body arched unnaturally, her fingers clawing at the bed sheets. She cried out in pain, saying her stomach felt like it was being stabbed from the inside. The needle fell. It hit the floor with a soft ting. At the same moment, my mother went still. Silence filled the room. I stood there, frozen, staring at the doll on the floor, my mind screaming one thought again and again. This was not just black magic. Something was still connected to us, and it was awake. That night, none of us slept. The dolls and the other items were locked inside an old metal box, placed in the far corner of the storeroom. My grandmother warned us not to go near it, no matter what we heard. "What do you mean heard?" I asked. She didn't answer. After midnight, the house grew unnaturally quiet again. No wind, no insects. Even the ticking of the clock sounded distant, like it was underwater. Then came the sound. Skr, skr. Something was scratching. It was coming from the storeroom. I sat up in bed, my heart pounding. The sound was slow, deliberate, like fingernails dragging across metal. My throat went dry. I tried to convince myself it was a rat. Then the scratching stopped. A soft thud followed. Something had fallen inside the box. From my parents' room, I heard my father gasp. Then my mother began to cry softly. I ran to them. My father was clutching his chest, his face soaked in sweat. "It feels like something is pulling me," he said. "Like my strength is being sucked out." At the same time, my own body betrayed me. My arms went numb. A sharp pain shot through my back, as if invisible hands were twisting my spine. My vision blurred, and I dropped to my knees. My grandmother rushed in, fear written all over her face. She looked at all three of us and whispered something that made my blood run cold. "This wasn't done to one person," she said. "It was done to the whole family." A sudden loud bang came from the storeroom. The metal box rattled violently, as if something inside was trying to get out. And in that moment, we all understood the truth. Whatever was tied to those dolls was tied to us, and breaking it would not be easy. By morning, the house felt drained, like something had fed well during the night. My mother could barely walk. My father's face looked gray, his eyes sunken deep. Even my grandmother, who had always been strong, looked shaken and afraid. That afternoon, she made a decision. "We are going to a kabiraj," she said. "Not an ordinary one." The kabiraj lived far from our area, in a quiet place surrounded by old trees. His house smelled of burning herbs and ash. The moment we entered, he looked up sharply as if he had already sensed us. He didn't ask our names. He didn't ask why we came. He only said one thing. "Why did you bring it so close to me?" My grandmother froze. She slowly opened the cloth and showed him the items: the papers, the soil, the hair, and the dolls. The kabiraj stepped back. Fear flashed across his face. "This is very dangerous," he said quietly. "Very old work." He examined the dolls carefully, chanting under his breath. Then he shook his head. "This wasn't done by one person," he said. "It was done by many. 3, maybe 4, different paths, different beliefs." My heart sank. He pointed at the dolls. "They tied each of you separately, but they linked you together. If one suffers, the others weakened. My grandmother asked if it could be removed. The kabiraj went silent for a long time. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. "I can reduce it," he said, "but removing it completely is not easy." He looked straight at my mother. "She survived before because of faith," he said. "Twice. This curse was renewed. Twice. It failed to kill her." The room felt smaller. "Someone close to you did this," he added. "Someone who enters your home. Someone who knows your clothes, your habits." I felt a chill crawl up my spine. As we left, the kabiraj warned us, "Pray, be careful, because once this kind of work is disturbed, it fights back." And that night, as we returned home, I felt it. Something was angry, and it knew we had sought help. That night, the kabiraj's words echoed in my mind. Once it is disturbed, it fights back. My grandmother did not waste time. She told my mother to stay in a clean room and keep the Quran close. No music, no unnecessary talking, only prayer. My mother, weak and trembling, began to pray. Her lips moved slowly, every word heavy, every breath painful. The room felt tense, as if something invisible was standing just outside, listening. As the verses filled the air, the house reacted. The lights flickered. A sudden cold wind rushed through the room, though every window was closed. The curtains lifted and dropped violently, like unseen hands were shaking them. Then came the whispering, low, angry, hateful. It came from the corners of the room, from behind the walls, from places no human voice could reach. My skin crawled as the whispers grew louder, sharper, as if something was protesting. My mother cried out in pain. She clutched her stomach, her body shaking. Sweat poured down her face, but she did not stop praying. The whispers turned into a growl. Something heavy slammed against the door from the outside. Once, twice, 3 times. The wooden frame creaked, but the door did not open. My father and I stood frozen, unable to move. Then, suddenly, everything stopped. The wind died. The whispers vanished. The house went silent. My mother collapsed back onto the bed, breathing heavily. For the first time in months, her face looked calmer. The pain had not disappeared, but it had retreated. My grandmother whispered, her voice filled with fear and respect. "This is why it hasn't killed her yet." Faith was not breaking the curse, but it was holding it back. And whatever was attacking us knew one terrifying truth. It could not win easily. The kabiraj's words refused to leave my mind. Someone close to you did this. That thought was more terrifying than the dolls, the whispers, or the pain. Because evil outside the house was one thing, but evil already inside was something else entirely. I started noticing things. Small things. A woman from our neighborhood who visited often now felt uncomfortable to look at. An aunt who touched my mother's pillow casually during visits. A familiar face who always asked too many questions about our health. Every smile began to feel fake. Every greeting felt forced. My grandmother warned us, do not accuse anyone. If you are wrong, the curse grows stronger. That made it worse. We had to live with suspicion, smiling at people we no longer trusted. One evening, my mother whispered something that made my blood turn cold. "I saw her again," she said. "Who?" I asked. "The woman," she replied. "She stood near the doorway last night. I couldn't see her face, but I felt hatred." That night, I couldn't sleep. Around AM, I heard soft footsteps outside my room. Slow, careful. Then a familiar scent filled the air. Perfume, not something from our house. The footsteps stopped at my door. I held my breath. The handle moved, just slightly. Then I heard a whisper so close it felt like it brushed against my ear. "You should not have gone to him." I didn't open the door. I didn't move. When morning came, the door was locked from the inside, but the fear remained. Because whoever did this was still watching us, and she was not finished yet. We went back to the kabiraj a few days later. My mother was still weak. My father looked older, as if years had been stolen from him in a short time. I carried a constant weight in my chest, like fear had settled there permanently. The kabiraj listened in silence. When we told him about the footsteps, the whisper, the locked door, his face hardened. "It has attached itself deeper now," he said. Because you resisted. He prepared his rituals carefully, burning herbs, chanting words that made the air feel heavy. Symbols were drawn on the ground, and the dolls were placed in the center. The room grew cold. The candle flame bent sideways, as if pushed by an unseen breath. The dolls trembled slightly. I could hear something slow breathing that did not belong to any of us. Suddenly, the kabiraj stopped. Sweat poured down his face. "I cannot go further," he said quietly. My heart sank. "If I push more, it will turn violent," he continued. "Against you, or against me." He destroyed what he could, burn the papers, washed the hair and soil with blessed water, broke the needles. But he did not destroy the dolls. "These are bound too strongly," he said. They were renewed again and again. My grandmother asked if we would ever be free. The kabiraj looked at my mother and spoke in a low voice. "Only complete faith can weaken this," he said. And time. Before we left, he gave one final warning. "Do not invite anyone unnecessarily. Do not share your pain, and never assume the danger is gone." As we walked back home, the air felt heavy again. The presence was quieter now, but it was still there, waiting. Life did not return to normal. Days passed. Weeks followed. On the surface, things looked calmer. My mother's pain no longer screamed every night. My father could stand without trembling. I could sleep for a few hours without waking in fear. But the house never felt empty again. Prayers continued every day. The Quran was never kept closed for long. Faith became our routine, our shield, our only protection. Still, signs remained. Sometimes, late at night, I heard soft footsteps in the corridor, slow, careful, stopping just outside our doors. When I opened them, there was nothing. Sometimes, the air suddenly turned cold. Even in summer, the lights flickered once, as if something unseen had passed by. One night, I woke up and saw my mother sitting on her bed, staring at the wall. "I dream of her," she whispered. "The woman. She is always watching, always waiting." We never spoke her name. We never tried to guess anymore. Knowing felt more dangerous than not knowing. The metal box was buried far away, as the kabiraj instructed. Yet sometimes, I swear I can smell damp soil in the house, faint, but real. The fear no longer attacks us openly. It lingers, like a shadow that has learned patience. We are still alive, still breathing, still praying, but deep inside, we know the truth. This story does not end with victory. It ends with survival, because some curses are not broken. They are only held back, and they are always waiting. Did you enjoy the story? Let us know in the comments. And if you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Horror Dream. Want more stories like this? Subscribe to The Horror Dream, and we'll bring you more darkness, just for you. If you enjoy a little chill down your spine, stick around, like, share, and hit that subscribe button, right here on The Horror Dream. Your support keeps us going, so stay with us. Subscribe to The Horror Dream for more spine-tingling tales.